Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, in the span of my hips, the stride of my step, and the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me like a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the swing in my hip, waist, the flash of my teeth, and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me.
Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I am a woman. Phenomenally phenomenal woman, that's me.
Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care. 'Cause I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
This community is created through our work and time together, our commitment to one another. This is our covenant, to walk together in loving fellowship, to share our hopes and values. As we pass these baskets, we thank you for your generous gifts which support the work of this religious community and Unitarian Universalism in the world at large. As a reflection of our values, we are pleased to participate in the Change for Change program. The coins you place in the basket today will support the work of nonprofits in and around the Grand Valley. With hearts of gratitude, we now receive today's offering. This congregation is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to its life, we affirm our lives within it. Let us sing together in your teal hymnal number 1053, How Could Anyone?
How could anyone fail to notice?
So for those of you who have been members of this congregation for a few years, you might notice that every year on Mother's Day, I title my sermon, The Face of Beauty. So it's always the same title, but it's never the same sermon. And I started that all the way back when I was in seminary, and it was one of the very first sermons that I wrote, and I called it The Face of Beauty. And I think the first line was, I saw the face of beauty this summer. It was old, it was wrinkled, and it had a double chin. And I like to focus every year on beauty, because we are a society that kind of thinks that beauty means pretty, but there's always such a depth, I think, to what true beauty is. And when I do a deep reflection on beauty, for me, it's never the superficial staging area that we think about. Because for me, true beauty captures and encapsulates so much more than the dictionary definition of beauty, which is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. And we all pay attention to different things, but I am not really a visual person, so I rarely notice the physicality of the people around me. So I don't usually notice the beauty from a purely aesthetic point of view, but I do recognize beauty. And for me, the definition of beauty is a deep, authentic realness based in love and compassion. And I'm not sure if realness is a word, but it's not underlined in red, so I'm gonna go with it. And so once again this year, as I reflect on beauty and the images that come to my mind, they're usually different than what most people in our culture would define as beauty, because I like to look at the essence of what's going on. And so a few years ago, actually, I was rereading some of my Faces of Beauty sermons throughout the years. And in 2021, which I can't believe was 4 years ago already, I titled my sermon, The Face of Beauty, the Beauty Behind the Flashbangs. And what I shared, it was a Saturday night when we ended up having the SWAT team at our house on the corner street, and I recognized as the neighborhood was kind of gathering together in a sort of a unsafe way to see what was going on, I was looking 4 years ago at the women in my neighborhood. And we were all standing outside that night from about 5 to 11 o'clock. And what I realized was I was looking at the divine beauty in everything. And so I shared this a few years ago, but the first person that I saw beauty in was my neighbor, Chrissy, and these are all changed names. She was a young woman with a child who moved in with the single guy next door about 10 years ago. And when she first moved in, she would scream at her child, and the rest of us didn't really want to have a lot to do with her. And then we kind of had a neighborhood blow up a few years into that, and she had just been screamed at by another mom. And I remember sitting on the front step while she was just looking shell-shocked and scared and lost. And I went over and I sat down with her and I said, we're gonna figure this out. And she started to cry, and we kind of became friends. And she was pregnant at the time, and her little girl is 9 now. And I've watched that little, crying again. I watched that little family next door grow into a very stable, loving family with beautiful children, with a beautiful 9-year-old girl and a 17-year-old who's about to graduate. And they are one of the, what I would say, healthier families in our neighborhood now. And I got to watch her from this scared, young, pregnant mom who didn't know what to do except to scream at her kids into this beautiful, loving mother. And then I was thinking about Julie, the mother who had been screaming at her those years ago. And she wasn't there that night, but I texted her to let her know what was going on because it was her ex-husband who the police were surrounding, and it was her children's father who they were trying to take into custody. And I thought of the image of her a year and a half earlier saying to me, Wendy, I can't do this anymore. After 22 years of marriage, I'm not safe, and my kids aren't safe. And I remember her asking me to text her when he was gone from the house so that she could come with a police escort and get her things and go away to keep her family safe. The strength and the courage of saying, I've been in a situation for over 2 decades, but I'm going to find the courage to say, I deserve better than this. I'm going to find the courage to say, my children deserve better than this. I'm going to make a change in my life. To me, that's beauty. And I thought of the 2 young, they were probably teenage girls or maybe in their early 20s that came and were walking down the street with their moms and talking to the police officers. And I heard one mom say to the police officer, this is my daughter, and her boyfriend is the son of the man in that house. We're here to try to get the dogs. And she stayed with her daughter for that whole time. To me, that's beauty. When you are just being there for a young woman, a young daughter who is learning how to navigate the world, letting your daughter navigate it, but being there for her, supporting her as they deal with some hard things in life. To me, that's beauty. And so I tell you this story this morning, not because it's about me or my neighborhood or what happened that night, but I tell you this story because I want us to take a deeper look and understand what true beauty really is. Beauty is courage. Beauty is strength. Beauty is vulnerability. Beauty is the vulnerability that comes from a young pregnant mom who says, I'm overwhelmed. I don't think I know how to do this motherhood thing. I need help. Beauty is the courage that comes with the woman who says, I was married to this person for 22 years, but he's changed, and now I'm scared of him, and I'm choosing to keep my family safe, and so I'm walking away. He's going to have to deal with his demons on his own. And beauty is the strength that comes from a woman who says, this may be one of the hardest things my daughter is going to have to do so far in her life, but I'm going to be right here sitting next to her as we wait and see what happens. And everything turned out okay. It turned out that after all those hours, he had not actually been in the house at all. And everybody was safe, and he ended up being safe. But I still think of that night, of the women in that street. None of us knew each other very well. not the way that neighbors kind of used to know each other, but well enough to recognize and be able to support each other. And I think about that night, I think about the beauty just when you walk into a grocery store. Maybe I'll invite you to do that today. Go to the grocery store or wherever and just look around. Look around at the cashiers who are smiling, or the cashiers who seem a little stressed out. Look down the aisles and look at the people who are just going through their day-to-day lives. The old women, the young men, the children, the interactions. There really is beauty all around us just by being here and being alive. And so this Mother's Day, this year, I want us to take a little bit of time to recognize the beauty just in this congregation. And I wonder, as I describe some of this, if you'll recognize yourself or each other in some of what I see. Because when I look out at this sanctuary, I see so much beauty. I see so much love. I see people who are holding a quiet strength, a quiet compassion, a deep wisdom. I see the beauty of people who quietly just show up for each other without ever wanting or expecting any recognition. I see the beauty in the woman who says, I had to make a change in my life 10 years ago, and I'm safe now, and my children are safe now. I see the beauty in the grandmothers and the grandfathers who are just here offering this kindness and compassion to the children in this RE program. I see the beauty in some of our veterans who have shared some of their pain and some of their fears and some of their own trauma and have shared their healing. The beauty in the men in this congregation who have been willing to share that. Because beauty, when I talk about beauty, the essence of beauty is not only found in women. It is found in men. It is found in people who do not identify as either woman or man. It is found in the essence of each one of us. And when that essence is expressing itself through the energy of kindness and compassion and love, then we are expressing beauty. And beauty, a lot of times, like the definition says, is something we can see, the beauty of flowers. But I think true beauty is something that we feel. And so I want to take a minute just for a minute and think about beauty, however you understand it in your life. Think about one of the most beautiful things you can imagine. What does that feel like? What does beauty feel like? For me, it feels like safety. When I'm looking at something totally beautiful, there is no fear in there. There is no anxiety. There is just pure beauty, right? It feels safe. when I think of beauty, it feels love. I feel love. I feel compassion. I feel kindness. But within the definition of beauty, it is large enough to incorporate everything. Beauty can incorporate loss. Beauty can incorporate hurt. Beauty can incorporate the tears, the fears. But it's like it wraps it in kind of this loving protection. And so on any given Mother's Day, the reason I talk about beauty is because some of us come here and we have really wonderful relationships with our mothers or our daughters, and we're encompassed in gratitude and love. But I think probably more than that, there are a number of us that may have complicated relationships with our mothers or our children. And there's history that encompasses some fear and some hurt and some grief, but we can bring that too. And then within the beauty, within whatever we're feeling today, the joy or the sadness or the love or that kind of dichotomy of all of those feelings, if we're missing somebody that used to be in our lives and is no longer here, we can encompass that caring envelope that says we can bring it all, we can have it all here. And so we've talked a lot in the last few months. You know, this world is a little bit chaotic. It's a little bit unstable. And I think, and I know in my heart, it's still extremely beautiful. In so many ways. It's beautiful as people are waking up and saying, how am I going to find my voice? It's beautiful when people are waking up and saying, this is what I stand for. And what I stand for has my heart wanting to stand with other people, and then other people are standing together. That's power, that's strength, and to me that's beauty. And that beautiful poem that Maya Angelou wrote many years ago is one of my favorite readings because she was such a beautiful, powerful, strong voice of divine beauty, of strength, of power. And yet, if you know her story, she had been beaten down many times in her life. She had trauma, and yet within that trauma, within that pain, within that grief, there was this strength that just kind of rose up through her and out, and she ended up, through her own strength, giving voice and power and strength to the people around her. And that's beauty. And so today, as we celebrate Mother's Day, for all of the joy or the grief or the mixed emotions that come with Mother's Day, I invite us to think about, what is real beauty? Where do you find that in your life? How do you create that beauty in your life? How do we become more real? And then once we become more real, how do we bring that authenticity and help this world become more real, more loving, more compassionate, and more beautiful? when you feel like you're in the dark, when you feel like there is kind of no hope, look around. Look for the beauty around you. And sometimes, literally, in order to be reconnected with that beauty, all you have to do is look in one other person's eyes. And you know that that is true, authentic beauty. And it's everywhere. So with that, why don't we sing together one of my favorite hymns, Come Sing a Song with Me, 346. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go your way in peace, wander as you may. Blessed is the path you take, may love guide you on your way. Go now in peace. Amen.